Hello and welcome back to JomezPro's coverage of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We are at the Discraft Green Mountain Championship at Smugglers Notch Resort in Vermont. BigSexy Commentary here with you on the Fox Run Meadows course. Nate Sexton, Jeremy Koling.
A very windy Fox Run Meadows. If you didn't check the front nine, go back and do that. Come back when you're done with that, and you're going to see some really challenging holes. These players are coming off probably one of the hardest 5-hole stretches you're really going to come across on tour. And you can see these numbers. There's a lot of red. There's even some purple. Those are double bogeys. You don't want those, folks. But, man, the back nine has a little bit of scoring opportunity, I suppose. But this scoreboard is just all shaken up.
And McBeth in first, but you see everyone else on our card kind of in a bit of a free fall. Dickerson still hanging on. Melton just barely clinging to the leaderboard.
We only had 3 bogeys on the entire feature card yesterday total. I mean, there's a huge contrast between the Fox Run and the Brewster Ridge, obviously, as you can tell. One very technical, one very open.
Hole 10, par 3, 295, OB all around the pin. And look at that line about 1 yard or so inside the grip 6 wall. That's a new change. So that wall's not saving you. That wall's saving you from having to go down a cliff to look for your disc, but you're still going to be OB.
That's a nice shot from Nate, keeping that low, letting it swing up the hill. Maybe not quite as much forward inertia as he was looking for, but he'll have a putt from right around the circle's edge. And surprising to see Chris Dickerson go for the backhand Anheuser. The wind is, I have to say, the wind must be really down right now because these trees are not blowing heavily left or right. I was here maybe just 30 minutes before them, and the crosswind was intense.
See Chris's shot bouncing through.
Yeah, this is a beautiful turnover. I can't really question his shot choice now, but he's such a good forehand player.
Yeah, but he's got a great Tennessee front hand as well.
His flick is pretty good. Yeah, that 2-finger pop.
Zach, big hyzer, beautiful.
Zach going for forearm or what? Forehand?
Front hand.
Front hand. That's what you said. Front hand. God.
Paul with the forehand driver. That's going to be short side, but in the circle. Going to see Nate first, just outside the circle. Ooh. Unable to connect.
I'm sorry, but if a backhand is a backhand, then wouldn't a front hand be a forehand?
Don't think about it.
I can't not think about it, man. My gears have been turning since you said it. Front is the opposite of back.
In some circles.
All right. I'll just leave it alone.
I think you're probably right. Basically, what I'm saying is all the terms are silly. We've got 2 great ones. Let's go with those. Nice birdies.
I got to say, we did forget 2 things yesterday. I didn't say flick as one of the words for forehand. And also, we missed the Andrew Marweed cookie situation, and we are so sorry we missed that. That was a beautiful moment. Marweed connects on a huge putt. He marks his lie with a chocolate chip cookie.
And this is legal. The PDGA's chimed in. He may have changed the game because, why don't I want a cookie if I'm going to make a
I think you should, muffins, cookies, whatever.
Let's go. There's a thickness restriction, so you might not be able to get a muffin down. Come on, Jerm.
All right.
Hole 11, par 4, 575. This one's got OB on the right and left, and the OB even continues down here by the pin to protect the wetland area. So you've got to keep your angles under control the whole way. Big sort of flat to hyzer distance drive is a great play off the tee. Chris will show us that as this drifts a little bit. That is a crush.
Oh, brother, that is huge. Man,
wow.
The only thing that could be difficult is that he might not be able to putt down the hill because the angle is tough.
He's almost in jump putt range there, I think. That was a crush.
That's beautiful.
And Zach, again, has to take the scary route as the lefty. Does this have height?
I don't think it's going to make it, folks.
Nope.
And the first time that we've seen Zach not execute one of these scary lefty hyzers, he's going to be out of bounds early. And the really difficult thing on this hole, if you are short, if you connect on that, if you touch that tree that's in the middle of the fairway, your approach to the pin is almost impossible. You just cannot get something fast enough down over that hill and then slow it down before out of bounds comes in play.
Mm-hmm. A little bit more turnover than you might like on this, and that angle won't be ideal, but the distance is decent. Zach is not going to get to advance very far, unfortunately. He's going to still be, I would guess, 400 feet from the pin.
Mm-hmm. And that's just going to get to the rock wall at best, not even. It'll be a jump down the hill, and hopefully Zach can save his 5.
Nate going to go with the forehand. A lot of height.
Not the worst angle, honestly, if you got the forehand to attack down the hill. I think, honestly, one of the hardest shots is that dead straight one. If you don't have that putter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Paul with his zone. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And wow, Zach's even further away from the wall than I thought. This is a long jump putt.
Uh-oh.
And no. A nightmare hole for Zach Melton. Still haven't even got to Chris's drive. Here he is.
This drive is huge.
Yeah,
just a little simple turnover. Oh, no.
Yeah, the angle definitely caught him there. That's just a little bit too much turn too early.
Man, you know he wants that one back. That was a special drive. He's going to have to hit a long putt now.
That must be the longest drive I've ever seen on the hole.
The only longer ones I've seen is when a big power thrower goes to the left, takes the Zach line, but a right-handed player with the giant turnover.
Oh.
I've seen that get way up there for a Simon type, but with a hyzer up the middle, I mean, Chris is pretty much maxing it out.
Mm-hmm. Unable to connect on the long birdie putt. Unfortunate par.
Oh, no.
And that.
An out of bounds on the putt.
Good double bogey putt, you have to say, for Zach. Tough break. And that out of bounds is so close behind the pin. I don't necessarily think that it's as much for a design element as it is because of the wetland that they have to protect.
Yeah.
Last year alone, Smugglers Notch had to pay $50,000 in wetland conservancy fees just to host the World Championships here. It comes in play a couple times in the back 9.
Nice birdie from Paul there. Hasn't had a par in quite a while.
My goodness. Yeah, looking down, you're right. He's just been all over the board with a ton of birdies and a couple bogeys.
On to number 12, par 4, 720. We've got the first landing zone here by these red stakes. You'd like to push it as far as possible and as left as possible to set up an angle to the pin, but you've still got some 400 feet at least, even from the ideal location. This hole plays very long as it is a little uphill, and just like always, OB all around the basket, so if it gets away from you, if that wind gets a hold of your disc, you're probably taking a penalty. Good height from Paul here.
Good angle, good height, getting off to the left side.
And there are those red stakes. He's in there pretty close to those.
And there's also that ridge, too. That ridge is almost just as effective as a bunker as anything else. If you can't get your footing planted for a 400-foot shot, very technical approach.
This needs to really get left. I think he's going to be pretty pinched there. He might have to go with a forced anhyzer out of the hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, he could also go with a big roller shot. I think the roller play seems to work really well in this hole, especially considering that rock wall makes that OB line, so it's kind of hard to go OB right.
And that's a nice controlled shot from Zach. I think he'll have a nice advantage on the second if he can get himself in position. That lefty hyzer, perfect for that position. As you can see, there's not a lot in the way out there. It'll be Nate up first, just going with a full crush.
Yeah, that's a beautiful angle. Good flex.
Wow, that's great.
And it's still so short. Just a huge shot. I mean, just showing off how far this hole is. Paul's so good at leaning back and still trusting his shot. And
wow, he just goes under the branch, pushes it up to the circle.
that's huge. That is so good. So controlled to throw an anhyzer when you're leaning back with an awkward stance under that little bush or that tree line ceiling. I mean, just there's so many elements that go unnoticed when you see a shot like that that make it so special and so difficult.
Zach, still outside circle one, I think, but with an opportunity. As we see, the wind is not a huge factor on this green at the moment.
Chris is lining up the backhand anhyzer, not the roller, and kind of in between that. It might get too much. Okay. Thought it might have throwed itself out of bounds, but you can see exactly why that angle was so difficult for Chris. He's a good roller thrower. I'm kind of surprised he didn't go with that. I think it's a little bit more, it's a little bit less risky.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I take that back now. I was looking at the OB line in the past. It was the rock wall, but man, they've effectively made everything so much more difficult at this course.
Man, and Nate and Zach both kind of struggling with their putting line. A couple good height attempts as of late, but just not finding the chains.
And Paul, go ahead and make that 9 holes in a row without a par.
See some par putts here. And it looks like Paul has rebuilt that 4-stroke lead that he had early. Hole 13, par 3. 350. This one's going straight ahead. You've got the telephone pole in the way. You've got the elevated basket. You've got the banner wall there all the way around. That's also making an OB. And then this, with the newly elevated basket, I don't think it makes a huge difference. But, you know, we're talking a little fraction of a stroke here and there as guys are a little bit more wary to run that downhill putt. And you do have OB behind. Paul is going to go hyzer here. This is short. Yeah, short. And there's a lot of trees in between him and the pin from there.
He's just going to have to try to find a way to get to the pin from there. I mean, just to try to lay up, most likely.
Chris, the wind just messing with that shot.
Man.
And Nate, this has got good width. How's the distance?
Oh, and that's going to be short too. And there's really no way to access to the pin from there either. Even if you can straddle out, it's got a really strange putt. Zach, this needs to keep turning a little bit before it starts hyzering. I'm afraid he's going to... Oh, well, he got further down the fairway than I thought he did.
Yeah, he might have probably has the best putt of the group, depending on the tree position for the other two guys.
Oh, nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
You love to hear that sound, even though it's an awful noise.
And Paul's got to go to the knee here.
Okay.
I think that might be a circle 2 flag behind him, so he's probably... Oh, he's got a gap. Oh, my gosh. A gap is all he needs. That was on such a steep hyzer all the way through. I'll see you later, Jerm. Thanks for your help all these years. Wow, Paul finally broke Jerm, and Jerm has left the commentary position. What a putt from Paul.
I'm back, but I don't want to do it anymore. I can't watch this.
And another air ball. It doesn't find OB. There is OB back there. You can definitely be a little worried about that. See if Nate can match Paul here.
Oh!
Does catch some chain. Great effort.
Not the putt you want for par here for Zach, but he might have a little look between those trees.
Wow. He
Nice
does
par
have
save.
to go between them.
Paul, what are you...
Thank you again to Discraft for their support of our coverage. Would not be able to do it without the sponsors. Hole 14, par 3, 380. OB pinching in tight early and then breaking away from the pin a little bit once you get up there. But those rollaways always looming here. If you hit these trees coming in on that right-hand hyzer, so often you'll see that thing try to roll back down to the right, often finding that OB. This is just a really tough green. You throw it up there and you just hope you can find a little straddle putt, find some kind of lane to get around these trees. We'll see what Paul's approach is. Going with the straight shot. That is a pretty...
Wow, straight at the thing.
That's a great way to do it. If you're feeling confident about your lines, though, he just overcooks it a little bit. He should still be pretty happy with that spot, I would think.
And the last green really has that bunker just short. This one has bunkers pretty much surrounded 360 degrees around the basket. If you're not in that perfect place, there's so few access lanes to the pin.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you got these trees, you got these guardians that are within 5 feet of the basket. So many places where you really don't have a look.
I'm pretty surprised how straight all these guys are going.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really looking for that hyzer play.
Well, use a big right to left tailwind that can take that disc and sail it. Zach Melton playing under the wind, like you said earlier. Good play.
Yeah, it's going to be obstructed, but perhaps have a line to the pin from there. Nate had some kind of misrelease here. This came up so short. But an 82-footer on the way?
Come on.
No way.
Stab of the putt, my friend, from 82. Huge putt.
I guess he knows what he's doing. Maybe he just lays up for that wide open look. He knows
he
he's
told me that was his play.
Yeah, I just try to put it about 90 short, and if I can see it, it's in.
That was beautiful.
Wow.
Oh,
just barely off.
That's one of those ones where you're like, there's no way I can miss right.
Yeah.
And then you miss right. You're like, how did I do that?
Wow.
Oh, that's a heartbreaking effort. So nice to just miss that tree and get the angle of the putter right, but then just a bit too high.
Wow, and that's 5 in a row.
Absolute fire. I mean, the rest of the course is just struggling to stay under par at all. He's 8 under.
And he's 6 ahead.
And just of this group, but these guys aren't even on the leaderboard at this point anymore. At least in the top 4. Not in the leader group, I should say, as far as if the round were to end now.
Mm-hmm.
But 7 clear on the league group through the second round. Paul is just showing he's playing the same conditions as these other guys, but he's just doing it much better.
Hole 15, par 3, 315 through the very tight woods with that right finish at the end. Turnover putter, pretty good play here, as well as the forehand driver. It's just all about getting it to break at the right time. And this one's narrow enough and the break is late enough. It's not as obvious and easy as you would kind of think, at the professional level. I feel like you see a lot of players go a little early, just like this.
Mm-hmm. Paul kind of getting through a little bit. Maybe he can make me leave the booth again with a huge putt, but I don't think he's going to like that result. Nate, however, this is a really nice looking center line. Can he get around the corner? Oh, yeah.
Nice shot.
That's exactly what you want. You want to push that right side all the way up because at the very end of the fairway, that tree bunker gets in the way if you swing it out too wide.
A little bit of Annie should extend Chris's shot a bit. Sneaks through the corner.
Huge jump, huge roll. Wow.
Fantastic.
Great result. That's the disc that I wrote no aces for you, and I drew a little basket and drew a line through it.
Has it worked?
It has. He's got no aces with it, and it really frustrates him.
Zach a little bit inside as well. He's going to be similar to Paul. Just outside circle 2. Wow. That guy it hit that hard and it still went that far.
How hard did he actually putt that?
That was going to go 150 long. He's 30 deep and he crushed that tree.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
That's crazy. Paul with a good effort.
Put a par? Really, Paul?
Look how far Zach is long.
He connects on the putt, but I mean a par. Are we going to start calling him Par McBeth?
Ooh, that is a sick burn.
That's the best you can do for us? A par, really? Boring.
Now it's birdie time. Well done. Got back under par with a huge 80-footer on the last hole. Perfectly executed drive here. And this is Chris to get under par for the round.
Man, what a great result. That shot looked like it was going to catch early and be 50 feet from the pin. Got through that corner, rolled towards the pin closest to the basket.
Hole 16, par 4, 715 feet. This has got to be one of the hardest holes on tour, as it is dead straight all the way up here till you get this little artificial river area of wetland that's OB. And then you've got to make that left jog and get all the way up there to the slightly raised basket. So difficult to throw a disc straight enough and far enough to be in a place where you like the idea even of trying to get to the basket in two.
I mean, it really is one of the hardest holes on tour. It only averages 4.84. So, I mean, clearly well above par. But that's really with the most difficult part of the hole being unobstructed by the wind. So
Yes.
That's kind of a natural, honest 4.84.
It's a wonderful disc golf hole. I mean, the challenge of it is so, it's so obvious what you have to do, but so difficult to do it, as you see some fantastic control throwers here struggling to keep it in the middle of the fairway. Yeah. Just even that amount of the edge that they're on is going to be a problem for these guys a little bit. They're not going to be able to think about going to the pin from there.
And Paul's going to go with the ESP Buzz.
Whoa.
Oh, a slip off the tee. This could be costly if it goes too high, but wow, nope. Just perfect instead.
Perfect time to slip.
I guess so.
We can be sure that was going to be a shank. I mean, obviously, the slip saved him.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the hardest holes for a lefty, I feel for Zach here as a sidearm player. It is so tricky to keep this thing straight. And then once it gets down to the bottom of the hill,
float down into the trees.
Yep. And there's just no way to keep it up in the fairway.
It was a great shot. He got that so flat, but the land just falls away at the right time where you can't really stick it. See if Nate has the opportunity to go across. It looks like he does.
Yeah, I'm just going to pitch through that gap.
Oh, no.
And that is a huge mistake. Out of bounds. And Chris, can he get a full swing without hitting his hand on this tree? That scared me. And that's all safe up there. It's not necessarily where you want to be, but he's through the gap in two safely.
Yeah.
And see if he can pitch out through the woods to get his par. Paul's got other things on his mind. He's going super overstable flex with a force. And all the way up there inside circle 2, just outside circle 1.
Wow.
What an animal.
This is what Zach has, and that's it. I mean, that's often going to be all it is from down there. You got nothing but that little pitch out. Hopefully he has an opportunity to go to the pin from here.
Zach's got a great forehand, a lot of distance with his forehand. He's going with a little bit of a flex, low line.
Oh, this is looking pretty good. Oh, no way. It doesn't skip on him. Doesn't skip for him at all. Just goes so straight. Perfect distance.
Yeah.
Tough result there. We've got Nate.
And this is still like 360, 370 from there.
Yeah, he's going to be outside circle 1, I feel. Here is Chris's third.
Okay, so fortunately he didn't go too deep in the woods, able to pitch up to the wood, and that's a par you'll be happy with every day of the week. Oh, that'll be a double bogey for Nate Perkins.
All for birdie. I got to imagine this would be one of the only birdies of the day. And he does it.
Golly,
Gosh, just
man.
leave these guys alone, Paul.
Seriously. And there's 4 birdies on the day.
And he was matching his shirt to his putters before. Look at him. He's matching it perfectly to the scorecard colors. He's got the gray for par. He's got that teal for all the birdies up top. Noticeable absence of red.
In his eyes. It's in his eyes.
Oh, seeing red.
Colton Montgomery, Eric Oakley, Kevin Jones, the other players with birdies.
Zach Melton. No.
Just...
Paul is just on a tear.
Unreal. The other guys are just like happy to walk away with pars. And I understand that the conditions are so difficult. The course is so difficult. Those two combined, you don't expect to shoot 8 under, 9 under. That's not even realistic. But I mean, he's in position to shoot 10.
Hole 17, par 3, 400. This one's newly elevated just a little bit higher. I like the change. One of the reasons is I can see that big white elevated thing through the trees, and this is usually a totally blind shot. You can get a little bit of a sense of how left you want it to swing. Paul might be going with a mid-range here.
Oh, no. Out of bounds.
And he's out. Surprising.
Wow. And that is a really tough par putt. Uphill, elevated with the right to left crosswind. Probably one of the worst winds for that putt.
Just speaks to the difficulty of the conditions, because every time we start to go, Paul's just unreal, then he's gone OB, you know? So even he is not immune, as Chris just throws the perfect shot. I like the driver play a lot better, getting it up high and letting it knife to the left. I think that mid-range, while it certainly could work, has there's a big risk of hanging it out.
Yeah, and that driver play also got Josh Anthon in trouble, though. Last year on this hole, he played that driver play, looked like a good shot. And then if it's a little bit too early, a lot of times they'll stand up and just roll downhill out of bounds.
Look at this play. Wow, that was fun. Over the woods.
Yep. Just playing the course completely different.
Wow. And what happened to Nate's drive? Just got no air under it on a hole where really you need to be super high for it to work. And here's a little bit of that annoying roll away. He'll have a little more putt left than he'd like. Here's Paul to save a par. Wow, what a putt.
Man on a mission, man.
See that one more time.
That's a par we'll accept. I'm not going to burn him on this par. That's a great par to save.
Yeah, it is.
The one on 15, however, if we're going to go back, unbelievable.
Zach with the birdie look.
No.
That lifts on him into that headwind. No.
And Nate essentially with the same exact putt for his par. Nate's putt a little bit more engineered for putting well in the wind, as we mentioned earlier. A lot more spin.
Chris absolutely parked. Fantastic drive. Here we are, hole 18, a monster of a par 4 when the wind is up, as they have narrowed this fairway even more. They're always doing that to us, and this thing is so tight now down here at the landing zone where the drone is now. Right-handers are going to throw that wide hyzer, just try to find inbounds territory, and then play either a putter mid-range type shot or a wide forehand to try to get to this basket. To top it all off, just that slight elevation and the little drop-off behind it makes you just a little bit nervous on that approach. Going to see Chris up first. Low shot, outright. Can it keep its height?
Oh, that drop might have killed it. Oh, wow. Just barely sneaking back in. If that hits the high grass, it's not skipping back in bounds.
Wow.
McBeth, this is his most overstable ESP force.
Nice width, nice height. And that just stayed outright?
It just dropped.
That is hard to believe. That out of the hand, the short look we got at the line, it didn't look bad. This is low, and it's flat.
Oh, this has just got no chance, unfortunately. Nate will be out of bounds, and that's the idea. I mean, do you re-tee? I would imagine you re-tee.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be up to you. You don't have a whole lot of room to advance. It's really the worst-case scenario to go be on the OB on that right side. Zach with a great shot here, staying over inbounds the whole way. Oh, wow. Slow
Hang
down,
on, hang on.
please.
Oh,
wow, that
Zach.
spotter was optimistic. He's waving green as the thing is skipping towards the stake. Stays in bounds. It looks like Paul has elected to re-tee.
And this shot.
Oh, he's flipped it.
Oh, man. And
This is gone.
No, this is no chance. Paul McBeth is going to be throwing 5 from the tee.
This is, this could be huge. This could be a 7, an 8, a 9.
I think he's electing to go a little bit further up the fairway now, and that's exactly what Perkins has done. And this is a better height here. I mean, if you're going to make a mistake on this hole, the mistake is go out of bounds in the parking lot. At least be able to advance the disc 400 feet down the hill. And Paul is throwing his 5th shot from still 700 feet away from the tee, or from the pin.
And Chris is in birdie position. This could be...
That's a fantastic recovery shot for Paul.
Okay, so I would say likely 7. Triple bogey 7. But if Chris can take back 4 shots...
And folks, it wasn't just Paul McBeth. We have got 4 scores in the double digits. 3 11s. Whoa. We have a 12 out there. This hole was just annihilating players.
Chris throwing that mid-range putter speed disc. Really nice, gentle turnover through the wind. He will have the birdie putt.
63% of the field bogey, or I was going to say worse, but much worse. Now Paul's going with the zone. Overstable tried to fight the wind, and man, this is leaving a little bit of meat on the bone, but should be within Paul's putting range. He's been putting outstandingly well today. And with the tailwind, I don't think it should cause him too much trouble, but still, you never know when that putt's for 7.
Oh, Zach had such a tough day today. Even when he's in position, unable to capitalize. Really a tough back 9 as we see Paul triple bogey.
Finishing his round at 6 under par. Still, incredible round, but we saw 2 bogeys and a triple from Mr. McBeth.
And look at this. Chris closes to within 1.
Wow. 4-stroke swing. You don't see that very often.
Nate takes a double bogey 6. And Zach makes a par. Wow, fireworks to the very end. I'm still a little in shock over what we just saw. Here you see back 9 scores for our players, overall scores. As we mentioned, Chris just 1 back. Zach and Nate fell very far down the leaderboard with their performances today. We see our leaderboard for round 3, McBeth, Dickerson, Lazat, and LeCastro.
And look at that fire emoji for Ricky Wysocki climbing 39 spots with a 9 under. Essentially what you just saw from Paul, if he pars that last hole, that's what Ricky did. So you can just imagine it in your head.
That's the hot round by 3 over the entire field. So big shout out to Ricky doing it when he needed to after the lackluster start, right back in the mix. Thank you again to Discraft and Smugglers Notch Resort, along with the JomezPro Founders Club. We love bringing this coverage to you, and we will be back with round 3 tomorrow.
Big Sexy. Out.